Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peaks that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Welcome, everyone. Grand rising to all of you. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday, and I'm so excited for this terrific Tuesday episode in the works for you. I'm going to kick it off with some great stuff going on, still with that MLK Day theme we have going on this week. But I'm also really excited because I got Chuck Hamaker in the building. Y'all know him from Circling Seattle Sports. He's going to be joining me later on in the show. We're going to be talking about his work and some of the phenomenal things that keep him motivated to cover all of these amazing sports events for all of y'all. But of course, you know, it's the top of the show. So it's a great time to tag and share this stream. Go ahead and share the stream, y'all, with folks who could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae and all the other great things we have going on. Of course, if you can't watch our show, you can always listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. I'm on all of the platforms, so choose your favorite. You'll find me there. Well, I want to say that this is really an exciting year for MLK Day. I mean, yesterday we heard from Black Heritage Society and Black Genealogy Research Group of Seattle that they have partnered up for an amazing workshop. And I was stunned to learn that this is the first year that Black Heritage Society is doing a workshop at MLK Day. It only seemed right. So I'm so glad that they were able to make it happen this year and bring something out for all of you. But there is also an event that is happening this week on the 11th. We'll put this flyer up for you. We got the Women of the Black Prisoners Caucus. They're going to be at Washington Hall at 5:30, talking about sisterhood and solidarity. And really, their theme is we're not all free, or we're not free until all of us are free. And this is something that is great to hear this message. Of course, free childcare and food. So you want to get down there to Washington Hall on the 11th. That is Thursday this week at 5:30 p.m. And the great thing about this event and why I wanted to really highlight it was, you know, I got to do some work with the Black Prisoners Caucus, and they really are coming from lived experience, bringing it out so that everyday community members and those in leadership positions can understand what they need and how to do it, right? And so much of what I heard from them is that in being embraced in community again, once they are released from prison, that is one of the best things that helps them on their trajectory to be being the people that they want to be. And, you know, they do a lot of work inside because they have created the programs that benefit them. They weren't already there, right? And we all know rehabilitation, we're going to hire those who are getting released. We understand, hey, that was a time, but we're going to give you another opportunity to showcase, you know, your brilliance in community. And I just love the message of that being such a phenomenal pillar of how they're able to establish that pathway to success once they are released. So I'm telling you, get down there to Washington Hall, check out this amazing event. And kudos to Washington Hall for always being such a legacy space in our community where we can come to gather, have these types of events so we can all learn and grow together. So huge shout out to the Women of the Black Prisoners Caucus group. They will also be participating this MLK Day as well on Monday the 15th. They will be a part of the rally that happens right there at the gym at Garfield High. And for many of you who have participated in MLK Day, you already know the rally gets hyped, right? It gets hyped. It is packed. I mean, almost every year, everyone who wants to attend can't because there's no more seats. There's standing room only. People are outside trying to hear what's going on inside. It is a vibe. So you want to make sure you get down there early to participate in some of those great workshops and the resource fair, because those vendors are going to be out there in the hallways of Garfield with all of their amazing products, services. There's always great organizations doing phenomenal work that are present. And I'm excited because tomorrow I'm going to be talking to another group that I'm a part of, and they are going to be rounding out some of this amazing MLK Day love this week. But I'm just wanting to tell y'all, get down there. It is a time to be had in community. And again, huge shout out to the MLK Organizing Coalition for all the effort that they put in. I was on the coalition, y'all, and let me tell you, it is serious work that they are doing to bring that event to you year over year. And so after this short break, I'm really excited because I've never had the pleasure of talking to our very own Chuck Hamaker of Circling Seattle Sports. He is coming up next. We're going to be talking all about the show, how it's been growing, some of the sports events he's been covering, and some of those things that keep him motivated. Y'all don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
A big day here at Lumen Field. Throws it over the top. Metcalf. Touchdown. Seahawks. And it is picked off. The fans are in the stands. They've got their towels. Walker gets the handoff. He goes in untouched. Dalton gets hit in the backfield. He goes down. Keep bringing it, 12. Keep bringing it. The Seahawks win the game.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Chuck Hamaker of Circling Seattle Sports. What's up, Chuck?
Great to be here with you, Trae. Just really excited to see you. And I mean, that introduction, I've been excited to see it and to be part of the show now. It's extra exciting.
Well, we share a studio, my friend, and a Converge media family. I'm so glad to have you in this family. Honestly, it has been such a huge inspiration to watch you be dedicated to Circling Seattle Sports. And I didn't know there were so many sports activities to cover, Chuck. You have really kind of opened my eyes to that, my friend.
There's a lot going on. And, especially in recent memory, last week with the Winter Classic, I do want to talk to you a little bit about that because, I know that the hockey community in Seattle has existed, but not as big as it has since the Kraken have come back. Well, Kraken have come here since they came around in 2021. As you mentioned, just so much that's going on in the city with 9 professional sports teams, but with the recent happenings over the past week, the Winter Classic, major event. Obviously, we had All-Star Week here with MLB. That's the biggest event baseball hosts over their regular season. The Winter Classic is the same thing, just for the NHL. So obviously the game itself is, at least to an extent, my biggest thing that I've got to look at with the Kraken and all that, trying to get back into the playoffs and such. But the league, the Kraken, Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, and the One Roof Foundation all partnered together to give back to the community as a part of the NHL legacy so that they can continue to grow the game in this region, but especially Tacoma. So it was down at the Verlo Playfield, and we were down there at the Playfield to see that. Few of our Kraken friends, Everett Fitzhugh, JT Brown, Bowie, the team mascot, was there, and it was really great to see this nice video that we put together, so you can see that here.
This morning we are at just a quintessential Pacific Northwest morning down at Verlo Park in Tacoma, celebrating the groundbreaking for what will be the new multi-sport court down here, which is a partnership between Tacoma Metro Parks, Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, One Roof Foundation, the Seattle Kraken, and the National Hockey League.
The city of Tacoma partners with Metro Parks on many, many projects, but this one is really, really exciting because of its connection with the NHL and the Kraken, and everyone's excited about hockey. I grew up playing hockey, so I'm excited to see it here in Tacoma. I'm excited to get out there and play.
The NHL and the Kraken really value the expansion of the sport, and Metro Parks is really involved and really devoted to creating opportunities across the whole city, especially in underserved areas.
When you go into a lot of communities, you don't see a lot of people of color playing hockey. It's about going into Tacoma. It's about going into South Park. It's about going into communities that have not gotten a lot of attention and going in there and being intentional, making sure that everybody in our town, in our area, has access to hockey.
Kids need to have fun. As a dad, I know my kids love having fun, and this is an opportunity for kids here to engage in something outdoors, to get physically active. Whether you make the NHL or whether you just play street hockey, what you remember is the friendships and really the camaraderie you build through sport. That's the foundation of a lot of our childhoods, and when you really look back on life, I mean, that's what's important. You have to have a good place and a safe place to be able to do that. The type of infrastructure that is fun and feel cool at, it's special. It means something.
I'm hoping the first Tacoma native to play for the Seattle Kraken is on that court right now. That is what I want this legacy to be.
To me, the long-term impact is that it's people that are falling in love with our sport, yes, but they're also just making friends and creating their own set of memories that they're going to take through life.
It's not just about being physically active, it's about experiencing joy and connection. It's about learning about teamwork and commitment and resilience, and literally and metaphorically, how to get up after you fall down. And these are all the things that help our young people become physically, mentally, and emotionally healthier and stronger. And that is what we hope this sport court will do.
So you can see a little bit about what these legacy events means. They have, a bunch of the folks from the Kraken, but especially with the kids playing there. The Kraken have hosted a ball hockey court event earlier in the year that we were at with Converge. So it's really great to see them, really commit to growing the game in this region. And, like Everett Fitzhugh said, that maybe a Tacoma native will play for the Kraken at some point.
Yeah.
So there was that as well. It's a big week of festivities, as I mentioned. Base and I were at this food preview that they had, but then the game itself came on Monday. And we've got a few photos of that, especially one that really kind of was like, wow, and took my breath, was seeing the entirety of the ballpark filled. I believe we've got a photo of that there. You can see there's an ice rink. Again, it's just a little different to see an ice rink on a ballpark.
I'll tell you, I heard about this, right? And me and my family were doing something else, but I thought, my goodness, how beautiful would it be to take my son? So I love that, to know that this was part of the NHL and bringing this here. Because sometimes, when you're in the city, you don't know, what is the spark for this? This is kind of different and new, but why, right? Or why now? Or who's behind it? So it's great that you kind of have your ear to the ground, Chuck, to make sure that we are all aware of all of these amazing things that are going on. I'm glad you were there to cover this.
It was excellent. We had a bunch of folks from our Converge family out to help really ensure that we were at every event, that the NHL was like, hey, we're doing this. We were there. And, as I mentioned, the game itself was really big. The introductions, Trae, were a big thing. We've got a photo of it, of the Kraken goalie, Joey DeCourty's walking in, but they've got pyrotechnics. They're walking on these special docks. There's fire coming up on each side of them. And, at Pike Place, everybody knows when you talk about Seattle, there's the fish throwers. They were throwing live fish in between them. And there's a few players that we've got that are really tall, and they were ducking. They didn't want to get hit, but, so it was a real spectacle. They really had all of this fanfare, and they really tried to, it's Seattle. Even when the players came in, they wore the special, the waders they've got. So it really was a true spectacle, but the game itself was great. The Kraken won. It was just surreal to look around the ballpark, and see how filled it was, see, kids taking it in, and, maybe some of those folks will be playing for the team down the road. So no, it was really great. We talk about events. The Winter Classic was one I'll never forget, just because of how, our team at Converge here covered that event. but also, I mean, a win doesn't hurt.
Well, there it is. But I also say, it's great that we have an anchor show with Circling Seattle Sports that really gives us a purview to all of these great things that are going on. So you and the work you're doing is so pivotal to that. And I got to ask you, now the show's been on for quite some time. I mean, you got hundreds of episodes in the bag. I want to know how this is, kind of filling your world. When you think about some of the things that you may have wanted to do, just tell us a bit about how inspiring it is for you to be the curator of Circling Seattle Sports.
Well, truthfully, this all started in 2019. Long story short, I did one podcast episode as like a homework project. And I said, hey, this is all right. So I started to do that, started to build podcasts, did some interviews with folks like Rick Riz, Miles Gaskin, who was a UW guy, went to O'Day, rep my Irish. But I remember still came into the studio here just as it opened, and yourself had just finished a morning update show episode, and I was wide-eyed. I'd never been in a studio before. But really what motivates me and keeps this going, and has gotten to our team that I'll talk about in a second here, is seeing, we've got 9 teams, that represent, at least professionally, the city of Seattle. And, some of them, like the Storm here in my hat, aren't really shown as much as the others. The Seahawks are great. I grew up with football. I remember Beastquake when it happened. I was still really young, but it's really, to me, about showcasing some of the sports that don't get as much love, or they don't get as much of the spotlight, so that they can get the same sort of representation that each other one does.
Yeah.
We're on the ground for them, like you said, ear to the ground, trying to, for all of these teams, whether it's community events, they're just out and about, or obviously the games themselves. But what is unique to me that I didn't ever expect was our team here. We've got a great photographer group that's one of the biggest in the city. I know sometimes you talk about small media with us and Converge, but we show out a bit, especially with our photographers, and we've got a great core. And Liv Lyons is a person, not just a photographer, but a person that's helped that. She's our lead photographer, and she's gone on to do some great things, a little bit showcased in a video that we've got that aired on Back to Basics. So I wanted to look at that kind of showcases Liv. Started out as our photo editor, but she's now, as our lead photographer, I apologize, but now she's a photo editor with the Kraken themselves. So I just wanted to look at that really quick.
Hi, my name is Liv Lyons, and I am the Seattle Kraken photo editor. My journey here today started with Converge Media, actually. It started back in 2022 during baseball season. I had the opportunity to photograph the Seattle Mariners on behalf of our outlet and our community there, and work alongside the Circling Seattle Sports show that we've got, and just provide our own original content and images for the platform. From Mariners, it turned into OL Reign and Seattle Sounders, going through 2020 to this year, 2023. I was approached by MLB to be one of their photographers for the All-Star game and for All-Star Week, as well as having the opportunity to be one of the Seattle Storm team photographers this summer as well. Photographing hockey is like no other sport that I have had the pleasure to be able to cover professionally or otherwise. It's definitely the fastest sport that I've had to cover. And whether I'm down by the ice or up here on the concourses, the action is absolutely palatable. Though my favorite spot is to be right there alongside the ice, and it's pretty straightforward. You just got to remember to be faster than the puck. You've got a little sliding door, nothing's going through it, nothing's coming through it, and it's very surreal because the action's right there. And basically, when I'm photographing, all I want to do is make sure that folks who are seeing my pictures feel like they're right there. They're like, they can feel the rush of the ice. They're right next to the action. And I also try to amplify those elements when I'm editing on behalf of the team and sending those images off. I've got a couple different organizations that I affiliate with. In the past, I started off with Black Women Photographers. This is an amazing organization that helps to create a directory as well as educational resources and uplift Black women photographers like Amanda J. Kane, who was up till recently the team photographer for the San Jose Sharks hockey team. She was the first Black woman photographer for an NHL team, and she has now moved on to a new role, but we still talk. I consider her to be a wealth of resource and a mentor for me. I believe firmly that it's a great thing for folks to see themselves, see how they identify, see someone that they identify similarly to or as. I think the Seattle Kraken do a really good job of authentically representing different folks and different groups. I think if I could speak to that little black girl, you know, staring at the computer screen, staring at a magazine or newspaper, I just want her to know that there's room for her too. That it's possible for her to also show up in the photo well, show up on the sideline, show up in front of the star, the story, whatever it is. There's room for her to be there and to tell that story, to evoke that emotion, whatever she's trying to do, that there is room.
Wow. I mean, what a phenomenal inspiration. I remember meeting her and to hear all of the passion that she had around, you know, being embedded in sports photography, to see where she is today is just beautiful.
I mean, she continues to inspire me even, you know, and has helped lead our team. You know, I talk about Liv, started off with us with the Mariners, you know, and just we both share a deep love of the sport, you know, and as from there, we went to the Mariners. They clinched the playoffs 2 years ago. It was amazing to cover that. We had her this last year. We went to spring training. You know, I think there's a photo of Liv and I in front of the backstop at T-Mobile Park, and that's just a great foundation for where we started. And then to the Kraken, you know, and to have that happen, go through a great season where they made the playoffs as well. We were on a little bit of a lucky streak. That was nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, for her to now go to that photo editor role and really make, as you mentioned, embed herself into this community, because all of the top folks, you know, in the Seattle sports photography world, they know about Liv Lyons, and that's because of the person that she is, you know. And I talk about this team, and Liv is our lead, but Liz, you know, you saw those Winter Classic photos. Liz has come on. She used to work with the Air Force, and some of her work is in museums. She's come into sports, which is a little different, right? And just gone on and taken a bunch of responsibility, whether it's with the Seawolves, our rugby team, the Sounders this past year as they returned to the playoffs, or the Storm as well, again. So, you know, having this strong group of photographers, you know, strong women photographers who may not have necessarily gotten those opportunities in the past has really helped give our work a face. You know, as motivated as I can be, my work doesn't happen without these folks.
Yeah. So
it's been really great to, you know, see Liz out in the field, see Liv out in the field, and for them to really blossom, you know. So it's, I'm eternally grateful, and our work, again, does not happen without them.
Chuck, you know, this is really beautiful to be able to understand a little bit more about you and the team surrounding Circle Seattle Sports and how it's been evolving over the course of time. I got to ask you, you know, I'm asking everyone these days, I want to hear from you, somebody who is, you know, anchoring in terms of inspiring in your world. Could be in the sports world, family, local hero, shiro. Tell us more about that person that kind of is an anchor inspiration for you.
Well, I'd be lying if I said there weren't a few, right? But one person in particular that kind of sticks out is Ryan Divish with the Seattle Times. He's kind of unapologetically himself. I know, you know, you think of journalism, you think of folks in suits, and it's very, I don't know if fancy is the right word, but as you can see, Trae, I'm not quite like that. You know, I've got a job to do. I'm not too worried about how I wearing a suit. And Ryan with the Seattle Times is very unapologetically himself. And I'm like, hey, I kind of like that. So it's been really great. I met him a few years ago when we started our Mariners coverage here with Converge. And, you know, it's been really great to learn a little bit under him. So I guess if you had to put me on the spot, I would pick Divish. And he's grown a following a little bit to an extent because of how he's himself and he doesn't hold back.
Oh, that's great. I love learning more about what inspires people, because I am learning more about some phenomenal folks out there in the world. Of course, if folks want to tap in with you and Circling Seattle Sports, you got to let them know right there how they do that.
Well, if you're trying to get the most complete coverage of all your professional sports teams here in the great city of Seattle, if you look up on your social medias, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, whatever you call it now, Facebook as well, Circling Seattle Sports, you put it in there. you'll see all of our coverage from the Seahawks, the Mariners, the Storm, the Sounders, the Kraken, the Reign, the Sea Dragons, and the Sea Wolves. So sorry, that was a little bit of a mouthful, but circling Seattle sports on all of your social media platforms. We're there, up-to-date coverage. I got some stuff to do now, so I appreciate you having me on. It really is. It's always great to join the day with Trae and see the positivity that you push, because sometimes we need it.
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much, Chuck, for being here, for being part of our Converge team. Oh my gosh, y'all. What an inspiration. I'm going to wrap all this up because I'm just truly filled. We'll wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
A big day here at Lumen Field. Throws it over the top. Metcalf. Touchdown. Seahawks. And it is picked off. The fans are in the stands. They've got their towels. Walker gets the handoff. He goes in untouched. Dalton gets hit in the backfield. He goes down. Keep bringing it, 12. Keep bringing it. The Seahawks win the game.
On my mind a lot, don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You seem like the barging down, got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch, might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we gon' make the child. Then we gon' hit the shower. Part 2, we don't need no pause. You miss me, we gon' get tipsy, don't need a power shot.
Copy my steal, face the fact that. Copy my steal, face the fact that.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. What a terrific Tuesday episode. Huge shout out to Chuck Hamaker from Circling Seattle Sports for joining me today. What an inspiration, right? I mean, for someone who is so embedded in sports, loves sports, has so much love for all of these different games, I love his intentionality to uplift and amplify some of these teams that maybe are going a bit under the radar. And it's great to have him also featuring teams that we all know and love. But the truth of the matter is that we all get to walk away from this episode today with a bit more inspiration. Y'all know I was inspired. I want you to be inspired because some way, somehow, you can be contributing to the larger parts of the solution that we can all benefit from. So huge shout out to Chuck for all the great work he's doing. He is such a phenomenal person, and it was so amazing to be with him today. I will that all of you got a little chunk of something you get to take away with you, just like I am. And you know, for me, y'all, until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or